Hi. Welcome to the 3 common mistakes practice parents make that powerfully inhibit advancement and the secret to avoiding them. This is David Strom. I'm Jen Furlong, and this is where we're going to jump in.
Jen is a fantastic Suzuki parent. She is the mother to 3 of my students, and I think we decided has 12 years of combined Suzuki parent experience with 4 children. She is a life coach, a powerful speaker, and she inspires our Suzuki studio, but as well as the whole DC community. I think spoken at 4 different institutes with raving feedback. So we're so grateful to have Jen.
Oh, thanks. And as David just said, he is the teacher to my students. And David has been in the Suzuki community since he was 4. So he started as a Suzuki student, then got his master's degree in violin performance and Suzuki pedagogy. So he is also a Suzuki teacher. And now, which is really exciting, he's joined the ranks of Suzuki parents, which is, as you know, a very special role.
The other 2 are quite easy in comparison.
I believe it. So I just want to say again, it's great to be with you and to have you as our teacher. My children have gone through, and maybe yours have done this too, they've gone through that moment where they're like, I don't want to practice, And I said, well, do you want your lessons with Mr. Strom? And that's where the talk of quitting stops. Because they're like, no, you mustn't take away Mr. Strom. So we all love him. So here we go. Are you ready? Are you ready? You're ready for this, right? Here comes mistake number 3. Thinking that repertory equals advancement. No. Advancement is actually the expressive possibility of the student. Engaging the expressive possibility of the student, that's advancement. Repertory comes along as part of that.
Yes, and it's so tempting to go there because that's what we see. That's what we hear about. That's the most visible branch. But let's consider what the other branches are. There is the tone, what was most important to Suzuki. There's the vibrato. There's the feeling, the expression behind it. And so what I think is, to me, is advancement is when the student, the actual human being in front of us, begins to emerge, his musical and artistic soul.
So that leads us actually right into the second mistake, which is we as practice parents make this really massive mistake, which is we stop that emergence by using limiting language.
Yeah, and that's something that we as teachers need to do a better job of cultivating the parents we work with. We assume that they know these things.
Right, that we know these things, and we don't.
And in fact,
I
it's
don't.
something that we are constantly trying to refine in ourselves. And so what would be an example of limiting language? A negative instruction is a great example of, like, don't do this, or even don't be tense, which has great intentions behind it. But whenever we have a don't instruction, what we're actually doing is stopping our muscles, we're stopping our mind, we're stopping our breathing, we're inhibiting any possibility of expression. And so as an alternative, we talk about notice instructions. Notice our breathing. Notice that we're soft, and give specific biofeedback about where that, to direct that noticing. Using the language of creativity, imagination, the song, the image, the feeling.
So was that tone good? That doesn't work, right?
Right, yeah.
Why not?
Well, because that, again, is the language of achievement, good, bad, as opposed to the language of beauty, the language of love. Was it rich? Was it bright? Was it luscious?
Okay.
These are the kind of words that artists think with, and those are seeds that we need to plant from a very early age.
And this takes us directly into mistake number 3, which is approaching practice from an achievement paradigm. What piece are you on? Work hard, succeed. Yeah, we've been there. You've been there, right? Instead of an artistic paradigm.
Yes, and this is very counterintuitive because our entire life in school we're taught if you try harder, if you're more determined, that's the pathway to success. And I joke with my students, when at first you don't succeed, stop trying, because it's the trying that fails. That's actually what gets in the way and really chokes off our artistic soul.
So we have a secret for you.
This is the big one.
This is the big one. So we've had the 3 mistakes, right? We know that this language component is key. And the secret to allowing this achievement-based language to leave and allowing the artistic-based language to become primary is this.
Yes. And before I tell you that secret, I'm going to share with you a tragic story that a teacher friend of mine shared with me, involving one of her students when she asked, why do we play the violin? And the student said, well, so we can have good posture. Aww. And so it was kind of like, whoa, we're really missing the boat here, we as teachers. And I can imagine that many of my students maybe have felt the same way at one point. And we think of the feeling and the...
Violin is hard.
We think of the feeling and the expression and the passion. Well, that's the icing on the cake. Uh-huh. And like it's a means to an end. And the secret is that that's the cake. That's what it's all about. It's not like, well, let's do this and then that'll be a nice finishing touch. That is at the core of what we do.
So the language that we feed our families every day is the language that is going to build either their ability to become expressive or not. So language, and the artistic core of what we're doing, that's what it's all about. So that's the secret. If you can keep that in mind, if you remember that the artistic value of what we're doing is the cake, then you can say, wait a minute, I'm about to put Worcestershire sauce into the cake. Oops, that's for the burgers before the cake. That's not the cake. You know? So that's really what we're after here. What ingredient are you as the parent putting in? And this is a question I ask myself 3 times a day because I practice with 3 children every single day. Okay. We have a little helper for you if you would like it, because I don't know about you, but I get stuck on language all the time. So we have lists, we have cheat sheets. If you would like the cheat sheet for achievement-based language and the cheat sheet for artistic-based language that you can use in your practice, we'd love to invite you to visit us on our Facebook page, which is Practice Miracle Experience. So again, you just go to Facebook and you type in Practice Miracle Experience. You'll find us. And you can send us a message. You can comment on a post, anything you want, and we will send you the lists of language because we want you to succeed. Mm-hmm. We clearly, with our combined years in the Suzuki world, love this. And we want to support you, and we want you to be able to come to your practice joyfully and with as little frustration as possible. So thank you for being here with us today, because it's hard to carve out those moments where you get to watch videos.
And we both know that.
So again, thank you. Thank you for your commitment to the growth of your children. Thank you for your commitment to them as a being, and also for being part of Dr. Suzuki's mission to cultivate noble hearts through music.